Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for March 29th. Before I start, I want to firstly apologize that my voice sounds kind of not like ass right now, and I am going to be sniffling a lot throughout this video because I'm fighting off a cold and I have slight fever so far. I took some meds already. So after the watch list, I will be heading straight to bed. Also, within tonight's watch list, at the end of the watch list, I will give out a little quote unquote lesson or nugget here about what I see overall on these charts for the past couple of days, what I've been seeing. And so stick around after the watch list and catch that nugget. Okay, so let's get into the watch list tomorrow. I have three tickers in play tomorrow. First up is ROKU, one of my very, very favorite tickers here. ROKU, as you see today, let's zoom in a little bit. We have squeezed out, okay, from yesterday, it selling off so much. I personally took two trades on it, both short. I took one out the open around, I believe, around this area, around the, yeah, right here. Right as it fails the 63, I took it down, and once it held here and made a double bottom, I got out. Okay, so a quick scalp short here, and then at the end of the day, I took a scalp short here from 64 70s all the way down to the close, and I took a nice 30-cent gain here. So what am I looking for on ROKU? Basically, we are coming into the 65 area again, okay? This is a key area which I've talked about a couple watch lists ago, as I talked about seeing algorithmic selling here on March 26th, and I talked about it in my plan on March 27th. So go back into my watch list from March 27th. You'll see how I planned out the selling part here, right as the stock hit 65 yesterday out the gates. Now we're coming back here into this key resistance area of 65 tomorrow. The stock did close pretty strong. Okay, it sold off a little bit, but then after hours it's grinding back up. So I do anticipate it at the open to hit the 65, and from there I'm leaning more towards the sell side. But however, knowing that a lot of sellers were piled in around the 65 area, this could be a squeeze zone. Okay, it's a line in the sand for the short sellers for the past few days. Okay, so if it pops up over 65 and holds, it's gonna squeeze, and then we have some few key resistance areas here. So the first resistance I want to watch here, let's zoom in real quick, is 66. Okay, I also want to watch 66.5 as well. So let's bring that in. Okay, so I think the stock has the ability to squeeze as high as 66.5, maybe even 67. Okay, so three areas of resistance if it holds above 65. This is the inflection point here. As you can see, ROKU, big down move on downgrade, and then a nice little bear flag pattern, which didn't work out. It popped this day because of the Apple announcements, and then the next day it drops and then pulled back finally, the bear flag. But today we were supposed to get a continuation day if this was a true bear flag, but however, we got squeezed out here. Even though the volume is pretty shitty and low, I'm not sure if it can get back above the 65 and hold, it's definitely going to squeeze. And these would be your targets here. You can play for the squeeze. I personally like it for the short because of 65, because of this algorithmic selling, because it's a key psychological hold number and a key resistance in the daily chart and the 9 EMA. Okay, and we have shitty volume here today. So today, this is not real buying, in my opinion. This is just basically a squeeze out. I like to look for the short, and if I'm shorting, I'll be looking at resistance areas here at, let's see, 63.75 is what I have in my notes. So that's pretty much right here. Okay, pretty much the VWAP today. And then we have 63.25 as an area of support as well. Okay, right here today, it bounced off here a few times. I believe this could be algo as well. And then finally, we have the key support of 62, which is the low of today. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, you can see how these three support areas reacted. Okay. If the 63.25 to 63 area snaps, we're coming right back down to the 62. Okay, and from 62, will it keep going? We'll never know. We'll see. But that's my plan on Roku tomorrow. There's 2 plays, so watch this 65 react. Next up, we have Restoration Hardware. I love this play. This is going to be on my main watch tomorrow. Restoration Hardware came out with earnings after hours, and their guidance was terrible, both for the year of 2019 as well as for the next quarter. Okay, their next quarter they see adjusted EPS of $1.47 to $1.58, where the consensus was at $1.80. So with the market usually being forward-looking, coming out with a shitty guidance like this, that usually means that they are going to go down. Okay, so let's take a look at some support level as we had a massive sell-off after hours and then start bouncing back and then faded off. I am looking for continuation weakness. I want to talk about support number 1, which is 112.50. Excuse me, pardon my sniffling. 112.50 right there. Okay, so here we have massive volume on this 5-minute candle. I'm going to bring in the 1-minute candle as well and show you this volume as well. See this massive volume here at 425. The opening price 112.50. Okay, right there. So this is a support number 1, and on 112.50 I want to talk about here as well. You can find it and plot it onto the daily chart. It's very close to the beginning of the year. This is the beginning of the year right here, 2019. That's the low of this second day, January 3rd, right? It's a few cents off the low, like a quarter off the lows. And then we have major support here at the end of the year, major support here as well. So this 112.50 area is pretty crucial. Let's zoom out a little bit more and see. Okay, so 112.50, support area number 1. I want to see it snap. Support area number 2 would be a key psychological hold number of 110. Let's take a look here. 110 didn't make that much of a difference during the intraday level here. I guess you can say it did make some difference here on the 1-minute chart. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it based it a little bit, ever so slightly. It's also a key psychological hold number on the daily chart as well, 110, a very psychological level, as you can see here, as the stock chop back and forth here. It's definitely an inflection point. And then finally, we have the low of intraday, 108, and a little bit beyond. I believe it came down to as low as 107, 106 and change, but I'll call it 108. Okay, nice round number here. Okay, so 108 would be support number 3. Now, what do I see here? Let's take a look at 108 here on the daily chart. Right about there. Perfect. So if 108 do snap, there is a lot of room to continuation to 104 as well. Okay, now one thing I want to note is that this stock is on SSR. After hours, the stock has sold off. Overall today, the stock is down 12.5%. So SSR is on. We do see shorts piling in, and then perhaps on this pop, they piled in some more. Tomorrow, I'm anticipating a little bit of a cover pop. Let's take a look at the daily chart here once again. Leading up to the earnings, we see a sell-off, right? So people are not very excited about this earnings coming up, and they've been selling it off already. And you can bet that some short sellers piled in. They just hit the jackpot. I do anticipate them to take some profits tomorrow morning, causing a cover pop. As far as resistance go, we have 119 right there. And then we have 116 right here. Yeah. Zoom in a little bit. 116. Yeah. As you can see, intraday support resistance here. And then finally, we have 114 and a half. Okay. 114 and a half to 115 area. Right about there. Now, why 114 and a half? Very simple. Let's take a look at the daily chart again. 114 and a half. Let's see. And I'm going to change the color of this line so you guys can see it here on my monitor. So let's make it red. And then with the company coming out with such a weak guidance, that's close enough. That's 3 cents off. I want to zoom back into the start of the year, okay, which is right here. 114 and a half on day 1 of 2019, right here, January 2nd. It's the low of January 2nd when they start off the year. Okay, so I do think this is a very significant point here as it comes down. You can call it 114 and a half to 115. It is a key psychological whole number. Okay, so bring it down here. So resistance area. Right now we're trading at 113 and a half. Looking for a cover pop into these resistance areas. Ideally, if it can go all the way back up. I like 116 more. I'm not sure if it can get back up to 119. And if it does clear, be careful. It might squeeze and come right back up to the 200 SMA here, or the 100 SMA here as well. Perhaps a VWAP tag here at around 123 level. Daily chart. Let's take a look at daily chart real quick. 125, nice psychological whole number. Let's see if it's, yeah, lots of significance here at 125, bringing it down to the bottom of the wick, to this wick, 123, and then this wick, 124. Okay, so be careful of the squeeze. Okay, but I'll be watching it for the short. So that RH. Finally, LULU is going to be on watch tomorrow, as well as I played LULU today. One thing I noticed about LULU, this is a day 2 continuation play to the downside. I do like it for the short, more like a pop and drop actually. Not because the company is weak, or not because the fundamentals is weak, but only because the stock is so overextended right now. Okay, I do anticipate a little bit downward to close this gap right here. It basically made a gap today from its 52-week highs to the lows, right? So there is this little gap to fill. I do like continuation to the downside. What I want to talk about on LULU is let's talk about some levels. Let's mark them off first. So resistance 168.50. This is a very crucial area. My broker just disconnected on the update, but it's okay. I can still use the chart. So 168.50. Let's take a look at that. Zoom in a little bit. As you can see, 168.50 held on quite a bit today, and eventually it snapped through. Okay. It didn't make that much significant. Why did I pick this 168.50 level? Let me see again. Oh, yeah. 330. That's why. 330 area. Okay. Gonna mark off 330 and you'll see this crosshair right here. Okay. Zooming in some more. 330. This major candle 168.50. Okay, it basically this is where power hour really happened, and it finally broke down and under it. See, it tested here under, came back up and broke down and stayed under it. Okay, so this 168.50 at the close was very key and an important area as a resistance. Next resistance area, I want to talk about 169, which is the VWAP. This is more of a whole entire area. What I see today here is algorithm. Okay, so let's delete this 168 line, and you'll see, and delete this line as well. I was watching this chart all day. I'm gonna blow this chart up a little bit. Okay, as you can see, this whole resistance area, basically, there was an algorithm seller here. Okay, there was an institution selling lots. So right here out the gates at the open, when it came up to this 169.35, look at all this, look at this major stuff candle and this major volume right here to the point. And then as it bust through and held, this made this a key significant level, came down, pop up, sold off, pop up, sold off, pop up, sold off. Up and over, down again, pop up, sold off, pop up, sold, pop sold, triple top, and then finally it went down. Triple top here, went down, came back up, sold off some more, tap, 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 into lunchtime, up and over, and then after lunch again comes back, boom, right here. Every pop gets sell off, okay? Every pop into this area. Key area here, okay? Why is this algo, okay? I talk about algo a lot. I hear a lot of people complain about, oh, it's algorithm. We can't beat it. Actually, if you can see it, you can definitely beat it. Here is that nugget I was talking about. Notice how on March 27th, I accurately called out the level of 65 on Roku to short, and it failed right there. Now, looking at this chart, because of algo, Roku sold right off at 65. Now, looking at this chart, this is also algo, okay? But some could say, but Matrix, this thing actually popped over and ran up and through. Look at this right here, over again and over. Well, I can actually explain that. First of all, this stuff was massive volume algo, okay, where they sold a lot of their shares, and then all the retail traders came in, right? And because of this massive volume increase here and this momentum, I would say they don't want to trigger the algorithm yet. Once it came down and it stayed under here, they sold a little bit, okay, and then it popped right up and over. The day is not over yet, all right? Right into early lunch, around 11 o'clock. I want you guys to look at the time. Okay, once it came down under, they clicked on that machine again and it started selling, okay, right into 12 o'clock, 12:30. What time is 12:30? I'm going to mark off 12:30 here. Lunchtime. Turn off the machine. Let's go to lunch. It pops over, okay, come back from lunch. 1 hour lunch, 1:30 area. Right around here, 1:30, right? So they come back from lunch, 1:30, 1:45 area. The stock gets sold off again. So turns on the machine, sell, all the way into power hour. Look at this whole area here. Algo, okay? And finally, power hour came at 3:30, and they basically just let it dump, okay? So if you had recognized this level, if you had recognized this algorithmic selling here, you could have took advantage of it, all right? Every time you see this little pop up here around the lunchtime area, I actually took advantage of it. I got short, and I got short around this area as it broke down, and I paid myself some here, and then I got stopped out, and then I saw this pop up again, and then I wasn't able to get in though, so I just watched it fade at the end. But I did get some around this area and came and brought it down. My average was about 169.07. Oh no, 169.17 was my average. Okay, so right at the VWAP, and I saw this stuff happening throughout the whole day, right? So I was pretty confident, and I had a nice stop set at 169.41. And then when it finally started breaking down right here, I took some off, and then basically it popped right back through. On this candle, it kind of, because I paid myself, I kind of got scared, and I got scared out here on this pop candle. But nonetheless, I could have held on and faded it down all day. But tomorrow, definitely going to be watching this level, getting back into the watch list again, right? We talked about the 168 level. We just finished talking about this algo level of 169, 169.35. Okay. Next level of resistance, 170. All right. So key psychological area, 170. As you can see, it topped out here. We have a nice downtrend line forming. Okay. So I do anticipate cover pop tomorrow, back up into this area. I did talk about this 168.50, right? So at the end of the day, after hours, it popped right back up and failed again. 330 area, 168.50. So 3 levels of resistance. Looking for continuation downside pop and drop. Also looking at mark off the high of day around 171, 171.50, right? Just in case. As far as targets go, the inflection point is right where it closed today, 167.50. Okay. I literally sat here all day watching this from market open to close, this ticker. So this 167.50 is the inflection point. Whether it stays above or below is one I want to watch. Okay. At the open, you see here the first push, it got stuffed and then through, and then it held midday, right? And then at the end of the day, this is where it closed. Okay. And this 167.50 mark is very key. It's also 200 SMA of the day. Another level I want to mark off is 166, which is today's lows. Okay, so ignore the after hours lows. Today's lows where it bounced hard from. Okay, so if I'm going to short around up here, this is going to be a major target for me to take a majority of my shares off. Next level of support, we have the 165 to 164.80s. This is the 52-week highs of the daily chart of October 1st, 2017. So watch out for this level. If it comes down here, this would actually indeed say it's a gap fill from this area. Okay. If it keeps coming down, then I'll be looking at the 162, which is yesterday's after hours highs. Okay. So a lot of levels to play off of. My first idea is a short, but I'm not gonna just maintain a short bias on it. If it starts showing me signs of squeezing, and knowing that this is an earnings winner, knowing that this company has fantastic fundamentals as well as news. Okay, here's the news. Lululemon announced that it agreed to a repurchase program, right? It bought back 1 million shares of its common stock from Advent International. Okay, this is good news. Okay, this shows that the company is very confident in itself and is buying back the shares, hence having less shares out there floating around, and they're taking on more risk themselves as a company. Okay, so think about why companies come out to the stock market. They actually are just trying to raise money for their company, right? Now that they're doing so well, they want to buy back the stock, telling, hey, I don't need the public's company that much. I'll buy some back and hold it for myself. Okay, so LULU, main watch tomorrow. That's the 3 tickers I have for you guys tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys caught that nugget there about algorithms. Okay, stop complaining about how the machines are taking your profits. Sit back, watch the action, learn to spot where they are, where they turn on these machines, and you can definitely use them as a thesis to plan for the next day. For example, like I said, Roku, what happened yesterday? Boom, 65 all the way down to 61. 4 points. 4 points. All right. If you want to learn how I plot these levels, how I trade, come check us out at Trick Trades, where my mentor taught me how to basically set thesis, plot out levels of resistance and support, how to trade properly. Inside Trick Trades, we have a community of members who help each other. Nobody fails there. We don't allow anybody to fail. All right. Check out the video description below. Look for the discount code, and I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Ciao.